Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Following a sold-out run at the New York Theater Workshop, Peter and the Starcatcher has come to Broadway's Brooks Atkinson Theater, and I'm here on opening night at the Skylight at the McKittrick Hotel to celebrate with the company.
Nothing is forever. That's the rule.
Everything ends.
And so our story begins. But we have all the fun.
You do?
Absolutely. A little swash, a bit of buckle, you'll love it more than bread.
The Broadway opening of Peter, how do you feel tonight?
I feel like it's as close to a miracle for me as anything ever has been. It sounds kind of grandiose, of course, it's not a miracle. The sun coming up in the morning is a miracle, you know, universal health care is a miracle. But my little miracle is that Roger Rees and Alex Timbers, through their strength of will, not only directed a wonderful play, but got the play on, and here we are. Because if they hadn't stuck with it and they hadn't kind of willed this thing into being and convinced producers to produce it, I wouldn't be talking to you. And I'm the luckiest playwright in the world. That's how I feel right now, like I won the lottery.
Well, you did, and you gave us such a beautiful book. Talk about what attracted you to the material. Was it an easy show for you to write?
It was not easy to write, but it was a great pleasure to write. I suppose I've been spoiled in the past by working with other writers, and in a collaborative process, you can work more quickly and more efficiently. And suddenly, this was just me and the laptop, and lots of books. The books were, of course, Peter and the Starcatchers that Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson wrote, and a lot of stuff that James M. Barry wrote, not just his play Peter Pan from 108 years ago, but other plays that he wrote and other stories that he wrote involving these characters, but also all his other plays and all his other essays, because he was really kind of a very big thinker. And I wanted to get to know him because I saw part of my job as being connecting what he did and what Dave and Ridley did 100 years later. And that, to me, was the thrill. That challenge was the exciting part. Sort of a very fun homework assignment. Join up that with that, and do it in a way that an audience will enjoy, at least hope, in theory, enjoy. Do it in a way that it will serve their concept, which was, poor theater, story theater, bare bones, theater of the imagination. And do it in such a way that you would create, in addition to the Peter Pan character, whom we all know, and the villainous pirate character who becomes Captain Hook at the end of our show, whom we all know. Work in the idea that there's a new character, which is this female character, the character of Molly, who is a strong, super curious, super smart, very active, proto-feminist, young, empowered girl who's new to our mythology and is the sort of girl in the tradition of Scout Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird, or Jo March from Little Women, or Anne of Green Gables. These great examples, two young females that you don't need to be a spectator in your own life.
What were the challenges for you with writing the music? Talk about that.
It was revealed quickly and excitingly, because Rick, the playwright, is such a musician himself. It was in the summer of 2008 that I was introduced to Roger Rees and Rick and Rick had a script already with lyrics in it, and they vaguely were describing their ideas for the music. And I'm a big one for sitting at the piano while the meeting is going on and saying, well, you mean something like this? La, 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 la. Something like this? La, 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 la. Something like this? And then, yes. And I just took away the lyrics that Rick had, and I said, let me try writing something for this. And it fell into place very easily. And
is there a certain style that you could explain what the music is for this?
We had a couple of opportunities for some rambunctious music hall approaches, which I was more than happy to fall in with. Yes, great. There were a couple of places where I think I had some ideas that were more atmospheric than perhaps the composers wanted. One instance in particular, I can remember just noodling around on the piano in the rehearsal hall, and then Rick jumping up and down and saying, "That's it! No, use that! Use that! Use that! Use that!" So I like to throw a lot of ideas out and let the other creators in the room say, "Oh, that's good. That one, and that one, and that one, and that one."
You would have been great rewriting a show if you were out of town, like in Detroit or Washington or Philly, like it used to be done.
Make a musical choice. If it doesn't work, change it in 10 minutes.
What's been the best part of the experience for you with working on this show?
The best part is the fully positive mood from the very beginning. Every person from Roger and Alex and Rick on down, every time someone was added to the project, you could tell that there was now a new injection of excitement, because everyone who got involved knew how special it was, and not just special, but hilarious and so satisfying.
It was great. The evening was electric. There were people. It's a wonderful evening when people are very, very quiet and then they laugh their heads off, almost within a nanosecond of each other. The people were very, very moved and found it deeply funny. And I think they had a wonderful evening, and we're very, very pleased and proud and flattered that happened. Yeah.
Alex, for you?
Oh, it's so exciting for after 5.5 years starting this thing in a cabin to finally see it on Broadway. I can't tell you what that feels like. It's amazing.
So let's go back to that cabin. I love this show. I love everything you do. The audience uses their imagination. The 12 players use their imagination. What was it like for the two of you creating this thing in a cabin?
Well, you know, when we were starting out, we had just a book. You know, we didn't even have words, for actors to say. And so we went to the prop storage at Williamstown Theater Festival, and we grabbed a rope, some buckets, and a seagull, and we were like, these things might work for the show. And then we just built it with a group of actors. It was really exactly what you want theater to be like, you know.
And Roger, for you?
It is exactly that. It's astonishing that it's retained the impoverishment. It's poor theatre, but by reducing the elements in storytelling, you can fill people's imaginations immensely, you know. And I think that's the trick of this. If there's a trick about it, but it feels a terribly interesting thing to do, to actually tell a story where, in fact, the words are the scenery, you know. And that's a wonderful thing, we think.
Let's talk about collaborating together. You two have this beautiful collaboration. Talk about that.
It's been like an extraordinary experience. Roger knows so much about things I don't know, and it's been just a treat to learn so much, sort of at his foot and him at mine, and out of that has become a real beautiful friendship.
Roger?
Yeah. No. I mean, Alex and I are sort of bound together now, you know, through doing this thing, and it's a wonderful feeling. And whenever I was deficient, Alex was always there to leap in. And though we come from very different areas, the thing we agreed to produce and make together is exactly something we're both equally proud of, and it's exactly the same thing. And in both cases, it's astonishing. You know, every refinement is out of this collaboration, and it's an astonishing thing. It's been such an exciting thing for me. You know, I thought I was just going to be playing fathers on soap operas, and here I am doing this. It's lovely.
When I was a boy, I wished I could fly.
Me too. So did I.
Out the window and over the trees.
High as a cloud and lighter than air.
Then loop the loop and up to the stars. I dreamed about flying all the time. What girls dream?
Up to the stars, I like that.
Me too.
Eventually, of course, we dream other dreams.
We change.
We grow up. It always happens. Nothing is forever. That's the rule.
Everything ends.
And so our story begins.
Supposing all these planks and ropes are now the British Empire.
And we are lords.
And captains.
Mothers.
Orphans. Sailors.
Pirates.
Tropical kings.
And use your thoughts to hoist the sails and deck the ships awaiting us this early gray and misty dawn in 1885.
A crucial year in the reign of Her Majesty Queen Victoria. God save her.
Take me back to the beginning of when you first started working on this, and what attracted you to this project originally?
It was an audition. and it was mysterious. I think I got 2 pages of sides and no script, and so it sort of it remained, mysterious in my mind, and I was curious, and I went in, and I thought I think initially I went in, and I thought I was going in for Tubby Ted, and they were going to do some sort of non-traditional casting, but then they wanted me to come in for Peter, and I thought, okay, well, I'm game, and I've sort of tried to maintain that mindset since.
Tell me what it's been like working on this with your directors, with Rick, the writer. Talk about that whole process.
It's the most incredible think tank. It's a group of enormously smart, talented, inventive, courageous people, and it was, as I think it appears, it was a collaborative effort, and it was just. It was a really lovely rehearsal process, but arduous also. I mean, it's a very technical show, and it requires, it's athletic, so it requires, training. And so a lot of the rehearsal process was sort of training for the production.
Talk about your company, some of the finest actors, perfect ensemble. Talk about your fellow actors.
Yeah, it's an incredible ensemble of actors. I'm inspired, I'm honored, I'm moved by each one of them as humans and as artists. So it's really just I'm so lucky to be able to share the stage with them.
I would think for an actor, this would be such a fabulous and incredible, beautiful show to do because it's so childlike. It takes you back to when, of all the things you use to turn in, use your imagination. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's well, I think what I feel so proud of. It requires the actor to create everything for the audience, except what the audience needs to sort of provide with their imagination. So it's a real conversation between the actors and the audience, and in that way it's so satisfying to perform the show every night because it really feels like a communication between the two groups, which I think is what's at the core of theater.
Congratulations, Broadway open. How do you feel tonight?
It's pretty amazing, I have to say. We were just saying it's been such a long road for this play. Like 5 years ago, I think Roger and Alex first, were in a cabin coming up with this stuff and taking a rope and saying, what could this be, up in Williamstown? And then La Jolla for you.
Yep.
And then we came in last year at New York Theater Workshop. So it's been a 5-year journey for this play. So as some opening nights are great, but this one is kind of like, this is a real culmination of a long journey.
Feels very
earned. Yeah, and it's very exciting.
Talk about some of the fun roles you all play. Fire off some names.
I essay the role of Mrs. Bumbrick, who is the nanny for Molly, who's the young heroine of the piece, and so that she is my main role, and she's rather saucy and sexy, some would say.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. Oh, yes. My main role is Princess, but I also really enjoy playing like various pirates and
You're
doors.
a good wall, too.
I'm a good wall. I'm a good door. But no, it's fantastic. What's great is it really is that kind of, like little kids playing in the basement, like form of like what is needed, what is required, and you become it on the spot. It's great.
And I play Slank and Hawking Clam. Those are my two major ones. But I totally agree with Carson. It is like kids playing. And every night it feels like that same sort of experience. We just jump in this together and go, all right.
Tell me what it's been like working on this and the audience's imagination of what they bring to Peter and the Starcatcher when they come to the show.
Well, they do have to bring something. They have to participate, damn it. They have to, because it's very different from a lot of Broadway shows where, this big set of Neverland or a ship doesn't come lumbering on. We kind of make the ship happen with us. We become the walls of the ship, the bowels of the ship. But I think that's what they respond to, too. It's like they realize very early on that they're going to have to play along. And they do. They jump on board, and that's the best part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think people come and, they have ideas about what the Peter Pan mythology is, what the story is. And what's great is to, come out with a group of characters that they don't know. Like, nobody knows who Molly Astor is. Nobody knows who Teddy and Prentice. They have an idea of who Wendy and the Lost Boys were, but like through the lens of our piece, they discover the backstory of the story that they know and love. And so by the end, all these pieces have clicked into place, and you've got a Tinkerbell, and you've got a Peter Pan, and you've got a Captain Hook. And so I think it's a really satisfying journey for the audience to go on.
And for you?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think them coming to the show every night brings something so magical. It really makes it feel like dialogue is going on, that wonderful dialogue that only this show can have. We ask a lot of them. We ask them, come on and imagine with us. Imagine this world.
What is that?
Blinking fierce.
It's Father. Father! Oh, God! He's signaling me all the way from the Wasp.
What's it mean?
It's Norse code. He's using Norse code, everyone.
I'm sorry. I think you mean Morse code.
Not Morse code, Norse code from Norway, the ancient Viking signaling system.
That's ridiculous.
What's he saying?
Unless I miss my guess, he's saying Marlebellefurnisina. Then he says, Ungetsi Molly Doosin Plinkin. That's first take Molly to the trunk. Cool me heller higher water. That's remember the mission.
Very convenient.
Ungetsi Plinkin to's the plonkin. That's take the trunk down to the beach. Marlebellefurna, father will be there with the longboat. Sina Heineferna will be Heineferna, safe if we can just get past the pirates and make it to the beach. Den Turin in der Flankenes in Ecken Fresketuder, Neighbor Ness and Neighbor Nanka Binkaroo Belenka Sinkanuk and keep the moja Kukananka Danka Papa. Love Daddy.
Take me back to your audition, because Adam was telling me he got two sides. It was very mysterious, which he loved. He had no idea what this whole thing was. What was it like for you?
Yes, similarly, I had like this whole monologue that I was like, whoa, this seems kind of crazy and exciting, and then some sides, and it was like one of those rooms I should have known when I auditioned. It was one of the most like generous, easygoing auditions I've ever had. We talked, we sort of, I did my sides and we chatted a little bit, and it was just a very sort of laid back, but also different experience in a way that I think that, is not so dissimilar to the way that it's been to work on this piece.
Well, let's talk about the role and what you love about the material and how it's presented.
Oh, I love so much about the material. I particularly love that it's an ensemble, that we're doing this all together, that the people, that everybody does everything. And I think as an actor, it's like an actor's dream to get to play a great part, but also get to support everybody else that you're in a cast with. And this character that I get to play, Molly, is so dear to me, and I'm so grateful to Rick Ellis for creating her, because she's a really extraordinary little heroine. And I think, especially on Broadway, there have been so many more young people coming to see the show, and afterwards talking to little ones who are like, we love Molly, and that I feel so glad that she is represented on Broadway this season.
So I was going to ask you, what is it like meeting the fans at the stage door and their reaction to you and to the show?
It's been a dream. Everybody has been so generous and so excited about the show, and it doesn't always happen this way. Sometimes you're in things that you're not that proud of that people really love, or sometimes you're in things that you're really proud of that nobody loves. And this experience for me has been a great sort of symbiosis of both things, where I am so grateful and proud of the piece, and people seem to be just gangbusters about it. So it's great.
There's 4 or 5 of us that have been working on it since La Jolla, and it's amazing, which was like 2.5 years ago, I think. So we've come a long way, baby, to see all the things that have changed, to see all the things that have been added, and it's only gotten better. Very rarely do you have an experience where things just continue to rise to the occasion, and this was one of them. And so it helped so much, and it feels so organic now and really fun to do. And you would think after all that time you would be bored of doing the same thing, but the monotony has not set in yet, because there's always something new to see on stage every night.
Yeah, I came into the production when it was downtown last year at New York Theater Workshop, and I was a newbie. I got literally thrown into the hurricane of the show, which is very precise, very all 12 of us really kind of create the entire, huge spectacles on stage with rope and buckets and these little things. And so, it was crazy to be thrown into this madness and try to figure out, I hold this rope, I do this, I do that, what does it all add up to? And then little by little, it kind of showed itself. And to be on Broadway now and kind of sharing it with the world is like fantastic. It's amazing.
What was the best part of today for you? What are openings like for you?
Openings are, there's a crazy alchemy that happens. It's like the cast kind of takes the show for themselves after all the preview experiences and getting noted and coming in for rehearsals. So there's a celebratory part of it, which is saying basically like it's ours now. There are obviously a lot of friends and family there, which is special, and relief. So we're excited to see. We hope that people like it, and there we are.
Like on twice already uptown. Audiences are loving your show.
I'm glad.
Tell me what it's been like working on this piece for you, Christian.
It has been the most special piece of theater I've ever worked on, and that is not to diminish any of the amazing. I feel very privileged that I've gotten to do a lot of things over the years, but to work on something over the course of 3 years and to see it in different forms and to bond with Rick Ellis, the amazing writer, in the way that I have. And it's a very specific part. There's an unbridled id that comes with playing Black Stache that's incredibly liberating, and it's been a very special year. So to have it culminate with the opening of Peter and the Starcatcher has been a great joy.
And this is a perfect ensemble. Talk about your cast members.
No, that's the other part of it. It is the most communal ensemble theater that I've ever done in my life. So to be able to do what we all do so well and then turn around and support each other and like each other as much as we genuinely do, although that might be boring to hear, that there's literally no drama at the theater, that's what makes it so particularly special.
You have two great directors. What has it been like collaborating with them?
It's unique. I've never had that experience before, and they have found their rhythm over the years of knowing just when to come in, just when to talk, and their working dynamic is fascinating, and they approach it from very different perspectives, both equally valid, and I think the proof is in the pudding. The two of them created this amazing piece of theater.
Talk about the audience's reaction when you meet them afterwards at a stage tour. What do you think?
It's enormously gratifying that people are coming again after seeing it at New York Theater Workshop. And I think that the show hits people on a visceral level. There is something about Peter Pan, there's something about the iconography of Captain Hook that they respond and have, it hits them in the sweet spot. And it's nice.
I don't like its bollocks to its. Do we detect a pattern here? Help me, the linguists among you. What's the turn of phrase?
Empty, Captain. The trunk is empty.
So it is. Clean as the sheets in a convent.